This is my international lady. Just got back from the UK with me. So let's show you the outdoor kitchen area. No real damage. A couple of rotten pieces of wood that end up on a fire. And here I'm building my cob oven. So I'm trying to create a mould, and I will do. This sand gets rather hard, so it forms a mould. But before you can create the exact mould, you need to be able to contain it in something, just so that the sand can sit in there, it can dry off, and then I can shape it to whatever form I want. And then I will plaster the mould with a cob and dig out the mould afterwards. So that's hopefully going to be up and running for the spring and summer. So here we are. So I've done a burn for the first time this year. This will take another 2 or 3 hours before it makes a very good charcoal. You can see my method there. And I'm using that natural heat to cook some duck eggs. That look. As you can see, I burn the shells. They don't compost, and especially duck eggs, they're really incredibly strong. Very gluey whites that you get within the eggs itself, but they're very, very strong eggs. So I burn the eggshells, and the other thing I burn is orange or lemon peel, because these things don't really decompose down otherwise, and it just adds a lot more nutrients to the composting. So let's just take a walk over here, getting through some old piles of firewood. Rather than just burn it and creating ash. And there's separate videos on this. You can see I've still got a little bit to go. But it's actually decomposing there and forming a soil structure underneath it. So if ever I need to make some more raised beds, I can just plough straight into this lot. But that's not really the theme of this video, because I just want to do a quick tour of the food garden and show you what's been growing there. And I've got these Cape gooseberries, they call them, and you can see the flower there, which is not quite ready, but inside there's a really fantastic berry. You can't pick them too early. You can't eat these things when they're green. There we go. Here we go. Whoops. Waste not, one not. There we are. Look at the size of that. That physalis edulis is absolutely delicious. I've got loads of these coming on. Here's another one. Let's try to do this with a camera in the other hand. That's the difficulty. Look at the size of that. Okay. Now, that's a specialist crop. I've got about 7 or 8 of these plants growing here now, propagated from last year. In between it all, I've got my broad beans, which were all autumn sown. Celery plants, which are coming on. I have so much of it that I use it almost like a ground cover. Carrot. Okay, that's been sown from propagation trays. You can see it there. And loads of brassicas, so various things coming along. So this is either cauliflowers, cabbage, and actually we'll get back to the other side, but some of these are really balling up quite well. I've actually eaten some of it already, but generally I pick the leaves off, especially where they're damaged like that, and give it to the ducks. I mean, ducks and chickens absolutely love brassica leaves, because it's got a kind of sweetness for them. So this one will ball up really well. Another cauliflower coming along there. All these broad beans interplanted with them, providing nitrogen for the brassica family. And they're just now coming into flower also. you can see some of this celery is actually getting quite big. It gets much bigger than that. And they're pimientos. Didn't see those last time when I was doing my cooking. But the other thing to really point out here is that you need pollination, and so this is my winter plant, and it was a massive discovery. I've been telling all my beekeeper friends to plant it, and it's so easy to propagate. You can literally just break off a part of the plant and it will root on the surface of the earth, but full of bees. So you plant this where you keep your hives, or where you want something pollinated. And it's a non-invasive plant, even though it can grow and start falling apart and, you know, re-rooting itself in various places. It's so easy to manage. But look, you can see it's just so many bees on this. And I've got about 7 or 8 of these in the fruit tunnel. It's a beautiful sound. So it's for this reason, really. I've got some lemons there coming on, my first real lemons. In fact, 5 or 6 years since planting these. But just the sound of these honeybees is fantastic. I've seen honeybees on, bumblebees on here as well. Flies. Look. Yeah. Bees won't sting you, you know, if they're not trying to defend their home, or you're not trying to kill them. And broccoli. So as you can see, I've got a massive amount of leaves to give away, and in return I get my eggs, which the young man is looking after. So my compost, my kitchen compost here, is just stuff that grows out. There's some leaf chard there. Look how wonderful that is. I can eat that. It was worth having a look at this. I've planted now 5 fig cuttings straight into old tree stumps. This is an old almond tree, and there were a few around here that have been cut down. And because I know that they've got all of these decomposing root systems beneath them, I mean, this has probably been dead at least 25 years, 20 years. So then you've got this nutrient release, and you've also got these passageways for the roots to actually find their way down much deeper. Here's another one. You can see the buds coming along quite nicely. And here's another one. So I've got a wary eye in this one. I wasn't here for a month, and it was quite a dry winter. And that is quite a long trunk to work your root systems down into. So we don't know how much moisture is in this because it's quite proud. But we'll keep an eye on that, and I'm sure it being a fig, it still looks alive. Fig cuttings generally begin to shrink when when they haven't rooted, and so then you know it's going to die. So this is only 1 year old, and as I say, I got 5 of these. And I'm beginning to wonder whether the fig has evolved from being an epiphyte. Now, an epiphyte is these plants like Christmas cactus that grow straight out of the boles of trees. So they literally grow out of dead, decomposing wood. And so there is there could be a symbiosis going on here. You can see that there's actually a new little bud just ready to come through on that one. I would estimate that, I mean, this got through the summer without any watering. So I estimate that that root system is already below ground, or up to this point really, because that's all going to be nice and moist inside. So this has been my activity whilst we've had all those horrendous winds. I've been repairing the wall along here and digging out all of this scrub oak. Now I'll show you a scrub oak plant when we come across it, but I've actually deconstruct the whole wall here, almost like, and dig out as much of the root system as I possibly can, and then just keep on top of it. And it's one of the things I'm probably pretty good at. As you can see, this is the edge of the land before you get down to what you would call the dry riverbed or the barranco. And I've been reclaiming these areas as well, and I've reclaimed at least 6 carob trees, various parts. But it's a good day for bees. You can see that the plants that I generally keep are bee plants, and this rosemary here is buzzing, which is indication that it's been a pretty good winter. And I've been planting more of these jade plants, Bacillovatas, the ones that you just saw in the food tunnel. And with time, there will be, in about 3 years' time, there will be about 4 or 5 feet tall. So the idea in the future is actually to create a lot more bee colonies and to expand on my honey production. But I keep various pines, pine trees, because they create wind protection, and the wind has been tremendous as well. I mean, I wonder whether a lot of my failure has been due, in terms of beekeeping, has been due to the excessive winds that we get at the edge of the land here. It's totally exposed when you see we've got mountains in the distance and there's a drop down there of about 100 feet. Anyway, that's enough said for today at El Corrobi. But no shortage of rosemary if I want to do some cooking. And there's a couple of places on the farm actually where I get these little, I would call them colonies of thyme. I've got loads of thyme here. So certain herbs you never need to buy again. And what else do you get for making videos? I like my eggs nice and soft, to be honest. Still, I am not complaining really. Bon appetit.